Hi, 18, female. Just graduated high school this year. I've always been a very academic person, and college has been my biggest dream for as long as I can remember. My parents promised me they were saving up for it, and I've worked really hard to keep up my grades so I could get into a good school. I recently got accepted into a great university and even got partial scholarships, but I still needed the funds my parents had been building up for me to cover tuition, books, housing, and all the other expenses that come with college life. I'm the youngest in the family. My older brother, Ryan, 25, male, has always been the golden child. He was popular, athletic, and charming. Even when he made reckless decisions, my parents would brush it off with phrases like, "Boys will be boys," or "He'll figure it out eventually." When Ryan turned 22, he got a big payout from my grandfather's trust fund, same as the one I was supposed to receive once I turned 18 for college. But instead of using it for something meaningful or long term, Ryan blew all of it on a luxury car. A car he couldn't even afford to maintain. He ended up selling it a year later for less than half of what he paid for it. But again, my parents shrugged and called it a learning experience. Fast forward to this year, I was excitedly preparing for college and going through orientation packets and planning for the future. I remember the moment I asked my parents to help me finalize the financial arrangements, and they hesitated. Then they said something that made my stomach drop. The fund was gone. At first, I thought it had been a mistake, maybe some bank issue, or it hadn't matured yet. But then my mom admitted they had borrowed it to help Ryan. I asked what exactly they meant by help, and my dad finally told me Ryan needed it for something important, an engagement ring and a party. Yep, not an emergency, not a house, not something essential, a ring and a big lavish engagement party for his girlfriend of less than a year, Nicole. Apparently, Ryan felt it was time to settle down after wasting his own trust fund. Since he had no savings left and did not want to look cheap, he asked my parents for help. And instead of telling him to figure it out himself like any responsible adult would be told, they handed over my college fund, the money I had been promised for my future. My parents justified it by saying, "College can wait, but love is a sudden expense." I honestly couldn't believe what I was hearing. It felt like I was being told I didn't matter, that my future did not matter, that my hard work, my dreams, they were all less important than Ryan's proposal. I was furious and heartbroken. I spent the next few weeks in a haze. I tried to think of alternatives, loans, maybe deferring admission, even working full time for a year or two to save up. But it all felt so unfair. This wasn't a situation where money just disappeared or an emergency happened. Someone made a conscious choice to take from me to reward someone else's irresponsibility. Then came the engagement party. It was held at a fancy venue, complete with catered food, a live band, expensive decorations, and matching outfits for both sides of the family, all paid for essentially by my college fund. I didn't even want to go, but my parents insisted I had to be there to support family. I figured if I stayed quiet, I'd explode, so I made a plan to stay distant and polite for the evening. But then something in me snapped. Nicole was showing off the ring to all the relatives, boasting about how Ryan spared no expense and how you can really tell when a man is serious. Everyone was clapping and smiling, and my parents were beaming like they hadn't just betrayed me. It was like watching people celebrate over a grave, my future's grave. It felt cruel. Eventually, someone handed me the mic during the toast segment, probably thinking I'd say something sweet. I did not plan it in advance, but the words came out of my mouth like they'd been waiting inside me for weeks. I raised my glass and said something along the lines of, "Congratulations to Nicole for accepting a stolen gift. May your marriage be more honest than your engagement. The room went quiet. At first, people thought I was joking, but then I added, Ryan used my college fund for this ring and this party. Just thought you should know. And then I walked out. I could hear people murmuring behind me, and later I got texts from cousins and aunts asking if it was true. Nicole did not contact me that night, but apparently she went off on Ryan afterwards. Turns out she had no idea where the money came from. He told her he had been saving up for a year, and she was livid that he'd lied to her and used money meant for someone else's future just to impress her. She gave him an ultimatum: either pay me back the full amount of the college fund or the wedding is off. Now Ryan's calling me names, saying I ruined his relationship and embarrassed him in front of everyone. My parents are also mad, but more about the scene I caused than the fact that they basically stole from me. They keep saying I should have come to them privately instead of humiliating Ryan and Nicole. But I did come to them. I begged them not to give him the money. I cried, I fought, and they still went ahead and did it. What was I supposed to do? Just quietly watch my dreams get crushed while everyone celebrated? The aftermath has been dramatic. Ryan is panicking because Nicole is serious. She's refusing to move forward until the money is paid back in full. She says if he starts a marriage based on deception, it'll never work. My parents are trying to convince her that I exaggerated and that it wasn't a big deal, but Nicole's not buying it. She told them if they think college can wait, then Ryan can wait to get married too. Some of my family members are split. A few are supporting me and saying I did the right thing, while others are saying I acted immaturely and ruined a happy moment. But I do not feel guilty, not one bit. I lost something precious, something I worked hard for, and no one was willing to stand up for me. So I stood up for myself. I'm currently looking into other funding options, trying to see if I can defer my admissions without losing my spot. It's stressful and heartbreaking, but I refuse to let this be the end of my story. If anything, I feel stronger for finally standing up and saying what no one else had the courage to say out loud. So, AITA for publicly congratulating my brother's fiance on accepting a stolen gift and telling everyone the truth at their engagement party. I'm back with an update, and wow, things have gotten even messier. So after the whole scene at the engagement party, Ryan, my brother, was absolutely furious with me. My parents were equally upset, mostly because of how embarrassed they felt in front of the extended family. They kept telling me I should have let it go and handled things quietly. I wasn't expecting any kind of apology from them at this point, but I figured they would at least try to resolve the situation since Nicole, his fiance, had made it clear she wouldn't marry him unless he paid me back the full amount of my college fund. For a few weeks after the party, I did not hear much from them. I've been busy trying to figure out my college situation and looking at potential deferrals and loan options. Then, out of nowhere, I got a text from Nicole. It was casual at first, just asking how I was doing and if I had finalized my plans for school. She also mentioned that Ryan told her everything was sorted and that I was now paid back in full. She said she was so relieved and happy to move forward with the wedding plans. I was caught completely off guard. Paid back in full? That was news to me. No one had even talked to me about paying me back, and certainly no money had shown up in my account. When Nicole asked if that was true, I didn't know what to say at first, but I've already learned that staying quiet in this family just leads to getting walked all over. So I told her the truth. No, I hadn't been paid back, not a single penny. I even showed her screenshots of my bank account and some texts between me and my parents where they were still telling me to be patient. Nicole was livid. She thanked me for being honest, and then she went off to confront Ryan. Later that day, the family group chat blew up. Nicole announced she was officially putting the wedding on hold indefinitely. She said she refused to marry someone who would lie about something so serious. She wanted nothing to do with this mess until everything was resolved, including me being fully repaid with proof. Ryan absolutely lost it. He sent me a ton of angry messages calling me a vindictive brat and accusing me of ruining his life on purpose. My parents also started guilt tripping me, saying things like, "You've embarrassed the whole family enough," and "If you just stayed quiet, they'd be married by now." But honestly, I do not feel bad. I didn't lie. I didn't take anyone's money. I didn't ruin the wedding. And if Nicole really believes honesty and accountability are important in a marriage, I respect her even more for standing her ground. Right now, everything is still on hold. My parents are trying to negotiate and keep pushing me to forgive and forget, but I'm done letting them guilt me. I still do not know if I'll get the money back, but at least the truth is out there now. Update 2. Here's another update. Things are getting worse for my brother, and honestly, I can't say I'm surprised. After Nicole, his fiance, found out Ryan lied about paying me back, she officially put their wedding on hold. My brother and parents thought she'd cool off after a few days, but it's been a couple of weeks now, and she's standing firm. In fact, she's actually moved back in with her parents temporarily. Apparently, Nicole told her family everything about how Ryan used my college fund, lied to her face, and expected her to just get over it. Her parents are furious and told her she'd be making a huge mistake marrying someone who disrespects his own sister and can't even be honest about finances. I also heard through one of my cousins that Nicole has started rethinking the entire relationship. She told some of her friends that if Ryan won't take responsibility and fix things, she's not sure she can trust him going forward. And trust is non-negotiable for her. Meanwhile, Ryan is melting down. He keeps spamming me with texts demanding that I take it back and tell Nicole I exaggerated everything. My parents have been trying to guilt trip me even harder now, saying I'm ruining Ryan's life and tearing the family apart. But here's the thing. I didn't lie. I did not take anyone's money. I did not start this. I just refused to cover up for them. Also, to this day, I haven't seen a single cent of the money they stole from my college fund. No offers to pay me back, no plan in place, nothing but empty words. If anything, their main concern is saving Ryan's engagement and not fixing what they did to me. The only silver lining is that Nicole has reached out again privately and told me she appreciates me being honest. She said she felt completely betrayed by Ryan and my parents, trying to sweep it all under the rug. She even apologized for the way my parents are treating me now, which, let's be real, is more than my own family has done. I still don't know what will happen with their relationship, but as of now, Nicole says she won't marry him unless he genuinely pays me back in full and takes responsibility for what happened. And judging by how Ryan is acting, I'm not sure he's capable of that. I'm still looking into loans and scholarships for school. It sucks that this is my reality right now. But I refuse to let them take away my future too. Update 3. Nicole has officially ended the engagement. After everything that's happened, she decided she couldn't move forward. A few days ago, she met with Ryan in person, gave him back the ring, and told him she couldn't trust him anymore. She said starting a marriage with this level of dishonesty was out of the question. From what I heard through cousins, Ryan completely lost it. He begged her to reconsider, cried, and of course blamed me for ruining his life. But Nicole did not back down. She told him this wasn't about me. It was about his actions and his refusal to take responsibility. She also said that after everything she learned about how my parents handled the situation, she did not want to be part of this family dynamic. Now the fallout is messy. Half the family, mainly my cousins and younger relatives, are supporting me. They think Nicole made the right call and that I had every right to speak up. But my parents, Ryan, and a few older relatives are furious. My mom keeps saying I shamed the family and destroyed Ryan's future. She's still insisting that I should have just let it go. But honestly, no. I did not steal from anyone. I did not lie. I did not ruin a relationship. Ryan did that all on his own. Nicole actually messaged me privately and thanked me again for being honest. She said she was grateful to know the truth before marrying into this situation. As for me, I've deferred my college admission by a semester, picked up a part-time job, and am applying for scholarships and grants. It's going to be tough, but I refuse to let this setback define my future. If anything, I'm proud of myself for standing up and refusing to be silenced. Story 2. I am 33, female, and I recently found out that I was pregnant. So a couple of weeks ago, I decided that I was going to have a pregnancy announcement party. And my husband and I were really excited for it. But unfortunately, my sister ruined it, like she usually ruins everything. For context, my sister and I do not get along at all. We never have. She's 2 years younger than me and 10 times more evil. She's always been very entitled, and my parents have never done anything to discourage that. She's always been the most selfish and narcissistic person I know, and she just proved it at the party. Earlier, we used to at least tolerate each other, but then she betrayed me by cheating on me with my husband, my ex-husband to be more specific. I met my ex when I was in college and we started dating in our final year. Then we graduated, and when I was around 25, I got married. That marriage did not even last a year because I found out that he had been cheating on me with my sister just 6 months into the marriage. And it was actually my sister who dropped a bunch of hints and helped me find out. So I guess I'm thankful for that because she was clearly so desperate to let me know that she was ahead of me and that she helped me figure out what was good for me. Anyway, I filed for a divorce, and after that was done, I never spoke to my ex or my sister ever again. I continued to stay in touch with my parents because at least this time, they were not happy with my sister. But they stayed in touch with her as well, and I guess that was as far as we could go. But anyway, a couple of years ago, I started dating my current husband, and he really is the man of my dreams. So we decided to get married last year, and a few weeks ago, I found out that I was pregnant, and it was just perfect. Hence, the pregnancy announcement party. But unfortunately, my parents ruined it by inviting my sister behind my back, and she even had the audacity to show up instead of just doing the decent thing and leaving me alone after so many years. But of course, doing the decent thing is too much to expect from somebody like her. Anyway, not only did she walk in with our parents as if she was welcome here and nothing had ever happened, she even came right up to me and started telling me how happy she was to see me. Obviously, my husband and I were both incredibly confused. And it was my parents who then finally decided to tell me that my sister had apparently been trying to have a baby for about a year now. But she had been struggling with fertility and she was in a very dark space. So they had decided to invite her and bring her along with them because I was pregnant, and they thought that this baby could bring the family together once again. I was very upset with them for doing something like this and going behind my back. But at that time, I was too focused on the pregnancy and everything to let myself get upset. And I just thought that I would deal with them later instead of ruining the party. But I guess I should have ruined it by kicking her out because then she went on to ruin things for me herself. A couple of minutes later, while I was distracted, she had decided to make a speech. And I was caught totally off guard because she was actually saying nice things about me. So for the first few minutes, I couldn't tell about this. But then later, of course, she started talking about how much she wanted to be pregnant. But she had been struggling, and now it was just ridiculous that I got to be a mom before her because I did not deserve that for a fact. and that she would be better at it than me, like she had always been better at everything. She thought it was some huge joke, and her whole speech basically reeked of hatred, resentment, and jealousy. And I let her speak because I was very upset. I was very angry, and I kept looking at my parents throughout because I wanted them to see what had happened because of them, and I wanted them to feel responsible for it. At least then, they had the good sense of looking a little ashamed and trying to get my sister to leave with them. Anyway, that was that. And thankfully, after they had managed to drag my sister away, who was still spewing hateful crap about me, the party went on as usual, and everybody had the decency to pretend that nothing had even happened. However, I have now decided that I am going to have nothing to do with my parents because for the rest of my pregnancy, I want things to be peaceful. And in fact, I have decided that I'm not going to have anything to do with them until I feel like I'm ready. So it might be a couple of months, it might be until after the baby's born, or it might even be a few years. I don't know. I have told my parents how disappointed I am with what happened, and they have apologized. But I've told them that right now I don't want to talk to them or have anything to do with them. And I don't know how long that's going to last. I was very frank about how I feel, and they were very upset, telling me that they had just made a mistake and they did not have any bad intentions. And I should not be punishing them like this for trying to bring the family together because their intentions at the end of the day were pure. But I believe that ultimately the impact of their intentions, or whatever they want to call it, was not good. And I believe that I'm doing something totally fair and I'm doing what is good for myself, so they can't hold that against me. So what do you guys think? AITA for wanting to keep my parents out of my life for a while until I'm ready to forgive them for dragging my estranged and cheating sister back into my life again? Update 1. Okay, so I have made up my mind. I'm not going to allow myself to feel guilty about doing the right thing for myself, especially when I'm pregnant. I mean, come on, this is important for me right now. I need to be in the correct space of mind. And if they're going to act like this, then that's not going to happen. My parents need to understand that they overstepped some boundaries and that the results of that overstepping were disastrous. Clearly, they saw that at the party and they cannot even deny it. Not even to themselves. They can't justify it, so I'm not going to pretend that I'm doing something wrong, and I'm not going to feel guilty about it anymore. Besides, I think they should have had some common sense and known that regardless of how many years we have not spoken, regardless of her struggles with fertility, she is still the woman who ruined my marriage. Yes, I know for a fact that my ex-husband was an equal part of it. But that doesn't use the fact that she was also gloating about it. And later on, she even went on to marry him. She is still with him, and now they're even trying for a baby. I'm not saying that I resent her for stealing my life or whatever. I don't care that she's with my husband. I think the two of them deserve each other. But what I do care about is the fact that she could screw me over like this in spite of the fact that she was my sister. I mean, that's just unforgivable. And I don't think I want to forget it. I don't want to be that kind of person who can move on from something like this and pretend as if everything is fine. So my parents should have known that, and they shouldn't even have bothered to bring her. It was just stupid. Besides, what does my pregnancy have to do with her fertility issues? I wouldn't even let her touch my baby, let alone allow this baby to bring the family together if that means that I have to reconcile with her. That is never happening, not even in 1,000 years. So yeah, whatever. If my parents want to be offended, they are very comfortable to feel that way. I don't really care about it. Update 2. Hey, so it's been a couple of weeks since my previous update, and apparently my parents have been talking about this situation to the rest of my family, trying to convince everyone to talk to me and get me to reconcile with them somehow. They are still trying to fix the situation, even though I have made it very clear that I just want to be left alone for now. I mean, after what happened, I think it was pretty natural for me to want that. I just don't understand what is so difficult to accept about it, especially after saying that they were sorry. If they are really sorry, then they should honor it and leave me alone for now. And I just don't understand why they think that recruiting other members of the family and asking them to reach out to me and tell me that I need to talk to my parents is going to help their case anyhow. It's only going to make me even more upset, and it has already, because I've learned from people that they have been telling others that I'm hormonal, that I'm pregnant and so I'm too emotional and I don't actually mean what I've said. And they need to make me realize that so that they can be a part of my pregnancy journey, just like most grandparents do. I mean, come on, this is just insulting. The fact that they are using the pregnancy to make me feel like I'm unreasonable or whatever, it's just humiliating, but I'm thankful that the rest of the family is standing up for me and not engaging with any of this or getting involved. That's respectable. And I really hope that people will continue not to fall for any of this drama. All that aside, though, I have made up my mind that now it's time to block my parents, because clearly they have no respect for my boundaries and they keep overstepping it. I mean, it's just ridiculous. They are not only involving the rest of the family and making it awkward for everyone else, they are making me feel embarrassed because people are obviously reaching out to me and letting me know, and I don't know what to tell them. I don't want to apologize because this is not exactly my fault, but then again, I don't know what else to say either. It's just really awkward and weird, and I don't want this. Thankfully, I have my husband by my side, and he has been incredibly helpful throughout this whole thing. He has been very supportive, and I'm really happy to have him with me. With him, I feel like things are slightly easier, and I'm really happy that he gets to be the father of my child. I'm grateful for that. When I was getting divorced, I probably didn't even think about any of this, but now I couldn't have imagined it any other way, and I'm actually kind of thankful to my sister for having saved me from that awful man and marriage. Update 3. So it has been a few months, and after my parents got blocked, they did not disturb me for a while, and I had almost forgotten about the whole fiasco. But then recently, my best friend started planning my baby shower, and well, now they're trying to overstep again. My cousin got an invite since she and I are pretty close, and I guess my aunt decided to speak to my mom, so now my mother decided to call my best friend who was organizing the whole thing and started demanding the details of the event and wanted an invitation. My best friend obviously did not give into the pressure, and she immediately contacted me, and it was actually so annoying because now she's involving my friends into this. It just has to end, so I've decided that I'm going to speak to my mother myself, and I'm going to have to tell her to back off on my own because I don't want her harassing other people on my account. She doesn't get to put people in an awkward position just to have her own way. That's not how it works. I'm sorry. Update 4. So I confronted my mother. I told her that what she was doing was really weird, and she needed to leave my friends and the rest of our family out of this because this was between me and my parents. She and my dad do not get to drag everybody else into it and make things even more awkward and embarrassing for me than it already has been. She tried to defend herself, but I cut her off and told her if she continues to bother me like this, in spite of knowing full well that I don't want this right now, then I'm going to have to cut her out of my life permanently because she's just showing me that she doesn't care about my boundaries, and I can't have that. That gave her something to think about because she was only looking at the short-term picture. But that's not how it works. I even told her that if she doesn't leave me alone, I'm going to have to get the law involved, and she doesn't want that. In the end, when I asked her if we were clear, after I was done speaking, in reply, she just hung up on me. So I'm guessing that she's going to leave me alone now, out of anger, if nothing else. But whatever it is, I'll take it. I just want to be left alone. Stay tuned for more stories from our girl relationships.